Hey, I'm going to tell you about the floating home market, but first, I want to tell you stick around for dessert. I'm going to tell you about some things beyond just floating homes. I'm going to get into waterfront properties. And at the end, I'm going to tell you about some things that, if I had to bet, I would bet you don't even know about that exists in Portland. Stay tuned. I'll tell you all about it. After being slow for the past 6 months or so, the floating home market has taken off. And in fact, this past month in June, the number that got sold is way out of bounds. It popped up pretty high, and the number currently pending status, where sellers accepted offers on their houses, that's also very high. So we're accelerating into a normal market from being very, very slow since November. I'm John McPherson. I'm going to tell you all about the floating home market, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the waterfront property market for properties in and around Portland. If you want a copy of the printed floating home market report, give me a call anytime, or you can text me 503-406-1776. But as for the floating home market, I would have expected there to be 20 to 25, probably more like 25 to 30 floating home sales through the end of June. We had 24. So it's not on the super low side anymore. Over the past 6 months, when I put out the market update, sales volume had been low year to date for sure, but it is increasing, and it's increasing not just for 1 month. Like I said, sellers have accepted offers on a disproportionately, unexpectedly large number of floating homes that should close sometime this month. So we may see that we're back in a completely normal range year to date by the time the end of this month, July, comes around. As far as the number for sale goes, I would expect to see at the end of June between 40 and 50, maybe a little bit fewer, maybe a little bit more. We had 68 floating homes for sale. So the good news is, as of the end of last month, we had close to 70. I think we had 69 floating homes for sale. We have 68 now. So what came onto the market got absorbed by the market. So that's pretty good news. We're still on the high side for sure as far as the volume goes that's for sale, but it's not getting worse. So that's good news for sellers. What I wanted to cover with you, though, also about floating homes, is that there are gaps in the market. And what I mean by that is that of those 68 floating homes that are for sale, or were for sale as of a couple of days ago at the end of June, there are houses on the low end. Some have been for sale for a while. And by low end, I mean very low in price, under $150,000 or under $200,000 in particular. And then there are a few between 200 and 400,000. Some of those have been for sale for a little bit. Some have slip ownership, some don't. And then there are ones that are higher in price. There are some new listings out in on Northeast Marine Drive, one at Columbia Ridge, for example, over 800,000. There are a couple over 800,000 out there right now, one at about $750,000. So there are gaps in the market. It's not that all 68 of these floating homes are between, say, $300,000 and $600,000. There are definite empty pockets of pricing where there's just no inventory available. So that's been a little bit tough for buyers. There are a lot of floating homes to choose from, but not a lot of floating homes in every price range. So that's been one characteristic of this floating home market so far this year. What I want to do too is cover waterfront properties, and in particular single family homes on the Willamette River, the Columbia River, and on the Multnomah Channel. I'll cover the Multnomah Channel first. There are none. There are almost no regular single family homes on the Multnomah Channel as it is. I'm going to cover the waterfront market too. And in particular, when I cover these numbers, I'm going to, just to give you an idea of how many there are for sale and where they are, I'm going to cover those. I have search tools pre-made that show strictly waterfront properties. So if you go online to some other websites and you see, if you look for waterfront properties, for example, in Lake Oswego waterfront property, you'll see some websites that pop up, but what they'll show you is not just waterfront homes for sale, but also houses in the area. Or if you look in Milwaukie, it'll show houses around Milwaukie, not just waterfront. I have a pre-made search tool for each of the areas. Just write me an email or text me, call me if you want, and I'll start sending you listing updates when new properties come on the market. And those listings are going to be per se waterfront single family homes. Now I also have search tools pre-made for condos that are, let's say, water adjacent. Strictly speaking, they might not be waterfront, but let's call them front row condos with a front row view of the river. Give me a call anytime and I'll discuss that with you. But here are the numbers. I'm gonna have to look at a cheat sheet because this isn't just a couple of numbers. We're talking about houses on the Willamette and on the Columbia River. So let's get into it. On Hayden Island in Northeast Portland, in North Portland Harbor, so a little bit of north and a little bit of Northeast Portland, there are only 2 houses for sale. They're both on Hayden Bay. One of them is priced at just under $1 million at $950,000. One is priced at $1.1 million. On Sauvie Island, there are 3 right now. All 3 are on the Willamette River. The lowest price, actually, I'll just tell you the prices for all 3 of them. $1.25 million, 1.3, and 1.4. South of the Selwood Bridge in Portland, there are 2 for sale. One at $1.95 million and one at $6.25 million. There also happen to be 5 condos in Portland on the river. Those are in the Selwood neighborhood. They're priced from $390,000 to $700,000. In Lake Oswego, there are 2 single-family homes on the river, on the Willamette River, on the west bank of it. That is at $5 million and at $6.3 million. There's a condo in Lake Oswego too, priced at $1.525 million, just a little bit above $1.5 million. In West Linn, there are 5 houses on the Willamette River, priced from $1.225 million up to $7.5 million. Now, that one priced at $7.5 million. It's a pretty nice looking house from the pictures, from the renderings, that is. This would be for proposed new construction. Give me a call if you have questions about that one or about any of these, of course, and I'll tell you what I know. That could be a pretty sweet looking house based on the renderings. On the east bank of the Willamette River, I'm talking about going down from the Selwood Bridge down to the 205 on the edge of Oregon City. There are 2 single-family homes for sale. One's listed at $1.6 million. The other is listed at $2.4 million. And then there's a condo also. And when I say condo, in this case, it's basically half of what looks to be half of a house with river access. There are some other units in this development, but they all share river access on the Willamette River, which is pretty great. So instead of having a house near the river or a few of them and only one house with river access, it is in an HOA. The fee is about $450 a month for some common area maintenance and other things. That condo in Milwaukie is priced at $1.4 million. Now, if you're thinking about waterfront properties, of course, you're going to think about Lake Oswego. And in Lake Oswego, on Oswego Lake, there are 28 houses, single-family houses that is, and 4 condos right on the lake. The cheapest single-family house is on one of the canals over on the southwest side of the lake, priced at $850,000. There are a couple on the higher end at $7.5 million right on the lake. The 4 condos are priced from around $475,000 up to right around $1 million. Give me a call anytime if you have any questions at all. So here's for dessert. There are 3 lakes in and around Portland that you probably didn't even know about, besides Oswego Lake and Lake Oswego, of course. And one of them, actually 2 of them, are in Northeast, in Fairview, which is east of Northeast Portland. And those prices, there are 2 for sale right now. Those 2 houses are priced at $750,000, and the other one is priced at $975,000. Give me a call or send me a text. I'll send you information about what's for sale and let you know when new things come up for sale on Blue Lake or Fairview Lake. The other lake is River Forest Lake in Milwaukie. That's not far from the Willamette River, just south of downtown Milwaukie. There's one house for sale there right now, and it is priced at $725,000. I'm John. Give me a call. I'll tell you anything you want to know about riverfront property, lakefront property, and of course, floating homes. Give me a call. I'll answer. We'll talk. Call me.